Hello, this is Dr. Garcia here, and today I'm here to talk to you about what is chiropractic. First, before we get into the nuts, bolts, and mechanisms of what is chiropractic, I'd like to take a step back and kind of examine where it all began. Now, embryologically speaking, which is just a fancy word for when you're developing in your mom's stomach, the first system to develop is the nervous system, specifically the brain followed by the spinal cord. And the reason this develops first is because the brain and spinal cord and the nervous system carry vital information along their pathways to help tell your body how to most efficiently and effectively develop. And I mean, this must be a pretty important system if it's the first thing to develop. And so let's look at what the nervous system can do after we're born. Its first predominant function is to send mental impulses to the rest of your body, instructing your tissues how to act and how to function properly. The second major function of the nervous system is to read the input coming from the environment, the external stimulus coming into your body to help you better function, adapt, and thrive with environmental stressors of everyday life. So, what exactly gets portrayed along this nervous system is what we like to call innate intelligence or a vital energy. And this essentially helps regulate our body's normal functions and tells us what to do. If you think about it, have you ever had to consciously make an effort to have your heart pump blood through your whole body or continue breathing at a normal rate? Or even if you get a wound, do you think about a scab going over that exposed skin or the healing process to begin? Most people don't even give a second thought about this, and the driving force behind this is actually the innate intelligence inside of our body, and it's communicating through the nervous system. So next we got to approach a commonly used and commonly misunderstood chiropractic term, a subluxation. A subluxation is essentially an interference pattern within the nervous system that inhibits or blocks the ability of that innate intelligence to communicate to your body. So this can end up being a pretty important thing. It's, this innate intelligence is helping regulate your body through everyday life, and a subluxation can actually interfere with this. And subluxations can come in a number of forms and interference patterns, but predominantly we get subluxations through stress. And the three major categories of stress are physical, mental, and nutritional. The physical one's probably the most easiest to grasp. If you're in a sustained posture all day, whether that's sitting at a desk or you're standing all day, maybe you drive a lot for your profession, these sustained postures can cause stresses on your body. Now, another way is repetitive movements, whether you're picking up your child every single day, which a lot of people do, you're stacking boxes at work, you're lifting, twisting, turning, poking, and prodding. This can also add a lot of physical stress to the system. And the last physical portion of stress that we commonly see is sports-related. These heavy ballistic movements, sudden reactionary movements, anything that your body may not be ready for and not necessarily braced for, all of these can manifest in physical subluxations that show up in your body. Now, one of the other forms, mental stress, can have a pretty large effect. We know that stress can alter the chemical composition and the hormone balance in our body, and so with the stress of everyday life, it's really important to stay on top of that. Another important part about stress that we often overlook is there's a physical component to mental stress. How many times have you heard somebody tell you, I just carry all of my stress right in my blank? A lot of times they say shoulders, a lot of times they'll say neck or low back, but this is actually a physical manifestation of the mental stress they're experiencing on a day-to-day basis. Now, the last major category, nutrition, kind of harder to grasp, but let's take a minute and examine it. So a lot of us eat junk food, not intentionally sometimes, but fast food, processed foods, things of that nature. And our body has to sift through the junk we put in it to start pulling out the nutrients, minerals, and vitamins that are essential to function. And as we're sifting through all of this junk, it's taking extra energy to do that, which is taking energy away from other systems in our body and decreasing their functioning capacity. So as we stress our body, we can also, through digestion, we can also have a cascade of effects down the road. If we put too much junk in our body, that can result in a number of stresses, whether those are physical or chemical. So next, let's talk about the adjustment, how we remove this interference. An adjustment is a quick and precise impulse to a specific area of the body to do specific things. A few of the functions of an adjustment include bringing an awareness to a part of the body that's being either over or underused, and kind of giving your body a reminder to pay attention here. Give a little bit more attention to this area and start regulating it. Another function of the adjustment is to also alter the physiological component of what's going on in our body. Now this happens in turning on and off pain receptors in our body, which is why chiropractic is such a good management of pain and certain conditions of that nature, but it also can help stimulate or regulate the hormone production in our body via the same pathways through the spinal cord and up into our brain. So the ultimate goal of an adjustment is to regulate the tone of the body and create a more balanced and natural state for your innate intelligence to take over and do what it needs to do. The bottom line is chiropractic acknowledges that there's a healing intelligence within each and every single one of us. We recognize that the nervous system is the communication system of choice for that innate intelligence. We realize that stresses of everyday life can cause subluxation patterns to show up in our body, and we use an adjustment to remove those interferences and help return you to a more natural state. And that's chiropractic in a nutshell.